Successful leaders today understand that they need to digitally transform themselves just as much as they need to transform their company, because digital transformation means digital leadership. It's, about being digital savvy, using digital tools so that you can build agile and resilient teams where everybody will feel committed, engaged, and most importantly, valued at work. The foundation of building successful teams is the company's culture, which is typically defined by a set of values. Before the pandemic, companies will go off to retreats to define their values. Now a lot of companies are doing it in virtual settings. But the problem is that often the result is a document with a bunch of values on paper, not so much in reality. And values can only shape your company's culture if every decision made by every employee, by every team member, aligns with those values. Otherwise, it's just a document with a bunch of values on paper. So you need to live your company's values. And living your company's values and reinforcing your culture is way more easier when we are meeting in person. It's much more difficult to do in a virtual setting, because in a virtual setting, you need to be way more intentional about it. An example of a company that uses digital tools to intentionally reinforce their values is GitHub. What they're doing is they're using a #thanks Slack channel and encourage everybody to send out thank you messages to those who live by the company's values. They even use the Slack channel as a bonus system to reward everybody that lives by the company's values. They also have emojis for each value, and they track all those Slack channels to see how many times those emojis were mentioned. And they have a document that for each value mentions the numbers of time that it's been mentioned. So you can have a visual representation of the values in action. And also in this document, they not only mention the values, but they also mention actionable ways that you can reinforce those values in the company, so it's clear. So a simple example of how you can use emojis, Slack channel, digital shared document to reinforce your values at work and essentially build up your team for success. It doesn't need to be expensive. It doesn't even need to be complicated. All you need is to learn how to use those techniques, those technologies, those digital tools to create the best environment for your team. So leaders need to lead by digital example. Use digital tools, even be data-driven. You want to measure your success using data so that you can create the best environment for your virtual or hybrid teams.